Good morning. Welcome to Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace. We are Unitarian Universalists. Ours is a historic faith with a progressive theology. Grounded in love, a love which calls us to see the holy in each and every being, to take compassionate action in our world. In this space, we gather with open minds, open hearts, open hands to practice acceptance, forgiveness, and growth. Welcoming people of all nations, all creeds, all ages, all genders, all cultures, and all kinds of love. Whether you're here every week, stopped by once in a while, or came here this morning for the first time, we welcome all of who you are and all you are becoming. You are welcome here.
Good morning. Happy Covenant Renewal Sunday. I'm Beth Robbins, Executive Minister here at Arlington Street Church. Reverend Parisa and I are joined by Mark David Buckles, Youngju Young, and the Arlington Street Choir in leading worship today. We couldn't do this without our student minister, Kel Alford, supporting the Zoom congregation, as well as the tech team, greeters, ushers, worship team, potluck chefs, and coffee hour hosts. Thank you all. I want to offer a special welcome to Kristen Standish and Abby Standish-Leek. Welcome, friends. If you are new to Arlington Street, welcome. We are so glad you came, and we would love to stay connected with you. Please fill out a connection card from the pew racks and give it to the ushers, or use the link in the Zoom chat. Reverend Parisa and I would love to follow up with a hello. Please plan to stay after today's service to visit. If you're online, you are invited to remain in the Zoom room for virtual coffee hour. The in-person congregation will gather in the Honeywell Chapel for coffee hour and a potluck lunch. You can find the chapel just through the leather door right here up front. There is plenty of food for all of us and more. Please join us. Also, after today's service, the nominating committee will be hosting a brief information session about General Assembly. If you're curious at all about this annual gathering from Unitarian Universalists from all across the country, please head to the Perkins Room downstairs right after the service. Zoomers can join the meeting through the special link that is in the chat right now. If you can't attend today, but want to learn more about being a General Assembly delegate for Arlington Street, please reach out to the nominating committee through the church office. Thank you to Deb Ponce, Daryl Waters, Philip Roberts, and Sarah Cooleybeck for your leadership of this important team. If you are interested in learning more about being a member of Arlington Street, please mark your calendar for our next series of membership classes taking place on March 12th and March 30th. For more information and Zoom links, please check out the homepage at ascboston.org. In the coming weeks, we will continue to have pastoral caregivers available before the service, right back here, starting at 10:30, and after the service in a dedicated breakout room on Zoom. The pastoral care team is also available during the week and can be reached by emailing care@ascboston.org. If you need a listening ear, a hug, or some extra emotional support in these difficult times, you are warmly invited to connect. On the last pages of the order of service, you'll find information on upcoming Arlington Street events. There is lots going on, both in person and on Zoom, and we'd love to see you this week. And now, Rich is going to turn the camera on the in-person congregation as we wave and smile at each other, as well as at our friends in the Zoom room. And all of you in the Zoom room can wave and smile back. This is always one of my favorite parts of the service. Hello, friends. Let's all engage that Arlington Street spirit of welcome that transcends physical distance as we greet one another heart to heart. Whether you've been coming here for years or today is your first time at Arlington Street, welcome home.
As the world around
Thank you, choir, for kindling our spark this morning. Our opening words this morning are a poem by Alberto Rios called "When Giving is All We Have." We give because someone gave to us. We give because nobody gave to us.
We give because giving has changed us. We give because giving could have changed us.
We have been better for it. We have been wounded by it.
Giving has many faces. It is loud and quiet, big, though small, diamond in wood nails.
Its story is old, the plot worn, and the pages too. But we read this book anyway, again and again.
Giving is, first and every time, hand to hand. Mine to yours, yours to mine.
You gave me blue and I gave you yellow. Together we are simple green.
You gave me what you did not have, and I gave you what I had to give. Together, we made something greater from the difference.
Our opening hymn this morning is called "Gather the Spirit." It can be found in your order of service in the Zoom chat and as number 347 in your gray hymnal. I invite you to rise in body, rise in spirit, and gather that spirit. Just because we like to keep you guessing here at Arlington Street, we have a little switch up from what is printed in your order of service. And we have Dave Irby to offer his covenant renewal testimony. In this season, as we recommit our love and service with pledges of financial gifts, we ask our members to share what inspires them and what connects them with Arlington Street. So we're glad to hear from Dave this morning.
Thank you. So the message I want to give today will be very authentic. It may not be well organized, but that's my style. And I apologize for any over-the-top shows of emotion. My message is one of thanks. Thanks for the spiritual community. Thanks for allowing me to feel so rooted and thriving. When Jen and I started coming here in 1996, I have to admit it was for a slightly selfish reason. I had grown up and seen how lives go. I had seen the value of spiritual communities. I'd seen the value in having people that loved you and supported, and in ritual. And so it was a very sort of transactional decision that I pushed. And I said, we should go there. We should go there. We should invest, because at some point in our lives, we may need that back. I was surprised at how quickly it came back. I've had no real hardships, but this community gave from the very start. Our daughters were born. Tessa was not the baby Jesus in 2003, because she didn't like the outfit that her grandmother picked for her, so she screamed in the basement with me. Both of them went to OWL to see your daughters, who you care about, probably more than anything, be enriched by such education is incredible. When I read their college essays and I saw the life choices they were going to make, I told you this would be emotional. But when I saw the life choices they were making, I saw how much had been given by this church to my daughters. Even when they were little, they would express views of God and the universe that I've adopted as my own. The way I see the world from the mouths of my children. The best parallel I can give is, so Jen and I have been together many years, since like 1984. There hasn't been a moment, not a day, not a moment, where I didn't feel that she had my back, where I didn't know that she loved me. That's an incredible thing. And it's the only parallel that I can express that conveys how I feel towards this community. So for me, the ledger's always gone the other way. I haven't given. I've been the receiver. So what started as perhaps a bit of a transactional thought on my mind, might want to do this, and for when the bad stuff comes later, right from the start, it's gone the other way. So I'm going to keep it, I might be already over 3 minutes, but basically that's it. Whether we give our time, which is more valuable than our money, even though the money's important, I don't mean it that way. All I want to say is that here I am rooted. Here I am thriving. And thanks. It's a big deal to me.
Thank you, Dave.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
It is now time for our treasured ritual of sharing community candles of sorrow and joy. In addition to sharing our sorrows and joys this morning, let's reach out to one another in the week ahead, staying connected. May these times remind us of how very precious this beloved community is. We need one another. Whether together or apart, may we stay very close. Let's join now in singing Sanctuary. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat.
Some of us come today with heavy hearts. We open our hearts to you.
From Queen Cheryl, a candle of beloved memory for my grandma, Mrs. Anne Rose Ziska, who died March 7th, 2003. Mama, there's been so much life-altering loss in the past year. What I wouldn't give to lay my head on your shoulder and have a good cry, comforted by the sweet scent of that Estee Lauder talc you powdered on every morning. I'm grateful to you for so much, but especially these days for teaching me how to cook. It's been busy in the kitchen since your last anniversary, a fundraiser, an epic going-away party, a welcome luncheon, and 3 memorial services. The congregation is also deeply grateful. Thanks to you, Mama, no one has ever had to go hungry at Arlington Street. After I finish writing this, I'm headed to church to cook for the potluck. On the menu is barbecued chicken and macaroni and cheese with extra crispy, cheesy, crumbly topping, just like yours. On this day and always, Mama, I rise up and call you blessed. All my love, your Cheryl. From Doug Miller, who writes, sadly, my sister of 74 years died last Wednesday. Joyfully, we shared many moments of laughter throughout our lifetimes. A candle of joy and sorrow from Melissa Partridge in memory of Jack Scales. He was a son of South Boston and brought his spirit of genuine curiosity to the world and to others everywhere he went. His booming laughter and ear-to-ear grin would announce his arrival, and he took great joy in being around friends and family. He will be missed very much, but remembered for all the love, memories, and fantastic tales he brought to our lives. A candle of remembrance and gratitude for Toby Wolfe, who died on February 25th. Toby was a noted landscape architect and championed the use of native plants. Toby designed many of Boston's iconic outdoor spaces, including Arlington Street's garden. He was an incredibly generous friend to this congregation and will be greatly missed. A candle of sorrow from the Arlington Street community for the violence that marked our neighborhood yesterday, resulting in a fatal shooting at a nearby restaurant. Our final candle of sorrow is for the people of Ukraine, who marked the 3rd anniversary of the Russian invasion this week. We offer gratitude for the many world leaders who are standing in solidarity with President Zelensky, and for all who honor the courage and resilience of the Ukrainian people. May democracy, freedom, and peace prevail.
Some of us come today in joy. We share your joy.
A candle from the Arlington Street community for all who celebrate Ramadan, which began Friday evening. For our Muslim neighbors, Ramadan is a time of fasting, reading the Quran, and giving to charity, and is often considered the sweetest and most spiritually valuable time of the year. We also recognize that this Ramadan is happening during a time when many Muslim majority nations are devastated by war and cut off from critical aid funding. Ramadan Mubarak to all who mark this important time. Peace and love to you now and always. Our final candle of joy is from Sharon Gentius, who says, I am ecstatic to share the news that my architecture firm, which recently celebrated its 10th anniversary, has merged with Narrow Gate Architects, a firm that started from the Catholic Workers' Movement with offices above the Haley House Bakery back in 1987. They have been a leader in the design of affordable and supportive housing in Massachusetts. I am humbled and thrilled to carry this legacy forward, working towards safe and affordable housing for all. Through our newly merged firm, Joy Squared Design. Congratulations, Sharon. We are so proud of you.
The sorrows and all the joys we hold in our hearts, we light a silent candle to remember and to rejoice. May the peace of this sanctuary enter into our hearts as we share a quiet moment together, breathing our prayers for ourselves, for one another, for our country, for all nations and all beings. Amen.
Please join in saying the affirmation and covenant of this beloved spiritual community. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is our gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak our truths in love, and to help one another.
El amor es el espíritu de nuestra congregación, y el servicio es nuestro regalo. Esto es a lo que nos comprometemos, convivir en paz, hablar nuestras verdades con amor y ayudarnos los unos a los otros.
Our next hymn is Put Your Roots Down by Molly Hartwell. It's a hymn in a couple different parts. I'm going to teach them to you. Give me D minor. So, part one goes like this. Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. Can you hear what she says if you listen? Try that. Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. Can you hear what she says if you listen? One more time. Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. When you hear what she said, when you listen. Now here's part two. 'Cause the sound of the river as it moves across the stones is the same sound as the blood in your body as it moves across your bones. Try that. 'Cause the sound of the river as it moves across the stones is the same sound as the blood in your body as it moves across your bones. Let's do that again. 'Cause the sound of the river as it moves across the stones is the same sound as the blood in your body as it moves across your bones. And the last part is just, are you listening? Sing that with me. Are you listening? One more time. Are you listening? Now we're going to start with the first part, then the second part, then we're going to put them together, and then you can just sing whatever you want. Feel free to add a fourth or fifth part as appropriate. Let's rise in body, rise in spirit, and let's sing together, Put Your Roots Down. Put your roots. Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. Can you hear what she says if you listen? Put your roots. Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. Can you hear what she says if you listen? Feel free to step a little bit as you sing. Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. Can you hear what she says if you listen? One more time. Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. Can't you hear what she says if you listen? 'Cause the sound of the river as it moves across the stones is the same sound as the blood in your body as it moves across your bones. Again, 'cause the sound of the river as it moves across the stones is the same sound as the blood in your body as it moves. Let's put those together. Either one. Put your roots. Put your roots down. Put your feet on the ground. Can you hear what she says if you listen? Put your roots down. Put your feet on the ground. Can you hear what she says if you listen? Put your roots down. Put your feet on the ground. Can you hear what she says if you listen? Put your roots down. Put your feet on the ground. Can you hear what she says? And the third part, are you listening? 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 Sing any part. Put your roots down, put your feet on
same sound as the blood in your body as it moves across your bones. Cause the sound of the river as it moves across the stones is the same sound as the blood in your body as it moves across your bones.
Are you listening?
Are you listening? Are you listening?
Are you listening?
Are you listening? Are you listening?
We need that reminder, don't we? To put our roots down, to feel our connection to the earth, the sound of the water across the stones, the blood across our bones. In this time of spinning uncertainty, of fear and meanness in the world, we need it. We also need the reminder that we are not the first people to have faced the challenge of living in times that do not seem conducive to thriving. The psalmist, or one of the psalmists, in the very first psalm, likely written well over 2,000 years ago, tells us, "Blessed is the one who does not walk in step with the wicked. That person is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields fruit in its season, and whose leaf does not wither. Whatever they do prospers." You may know of Howard Thurman, the mystic, preacher, theologian, and mentor to Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He served right here at Boston University's Marsh Chapel as dean late in his career. Thurman grew up in the Jim Crow South in Daytona, Florida. All around him in his childhood was the very real fear of violence, the fact of segregation, and the looming presence of the Ku Klux Klan. Raised by a grandmother who told him stories of the dignity and honor of his people, while also describing her life as an enslaved person, Thurman knew the very precarious rights that belonged to him as a Black child in the early 20th century in America. In his autobiography, Thurman describes finding relief in private moments in the natural world. On the beach at Daytona, which was filled with crowds and car races during the day, he found at night, alone, a special benediction. He writes, "The ocean and the night together surrounded my little life with a reassurance that could not be affronted by the behavior of human beings. The ocean at night gave me a sense of timelessness, of existing beyond the reach of the ebb and flow of circumstances. I was made keenly aware when a storm came sweeping seemingly from the depths of the sea. First, there was a steady quieting, a lull during which the waves seemed to lack the strength to even wash up fully on the shore. The seagrass along the top of the dunes was still. No wind blew in the treacherous quiet. Then a stirring like a gentle moan broke the surface. Suddenly the winds were ferocious, and the waves, now 10 feet high, dashed into the shore. Again, the boundaries of self did not hold me. Unafraid, I was held by the storm's embrace. The experience of these storms gave me a certain overriding immunity against much of the pain with which I would have to deal in the years ahead, when the ocean became only a memory. The sense I held. I felt rooted in life, in nature, in existence. He goes on to tell the story of a very special relationship with a tree. When the storms blew, the branches of a large oak tree in our backyard would snap and fall, but the topmost branches of that oak tree would sway, giving way just enough to save themselves from snapping loose. I needed the strength of that tree, and like it, I wanted to hold my ground. Eventually, I discovered that the oak tree and I had a unique relationship. I could sit my back against its trunk and feel the same peace that would come to me in my bed at night. I could reach down in the quiet places of my spirit, take out my bruises and my joys, unfold them, and talk about them. I could talk aloud to the oak tree and know that I was understood. It too was part of my reality, like the woods, the night, and the pounding surf, my earliest companions, giving me space. It was many more decades beyond that boyhood experience of the ocean and the night and the oak tree before Thurman would achieve the recognition and influence that has me quoting his autobiography to you this morning. And yet, that sense of communion with a natural world in which he was understood and accepted exactly as he was, to which he belonged completely, bolstered him and rooted him through the many hardships to come. Deep in our bones, we know, don't we, that we belong to the seasons and cycles of nature, that we humans have a lot to learn from the other life forms on the planet and how they grow and thrive. Robin Wall Kimmerer, a member of the Potawatomi Nation and a biologist, writes beautifully about the interdependence and cooperation that are hallmarks of thriving ecosystems. Kimmerer is one of the many biologists over the last half century who have upset the centuries of scientific belief that the natural world was based on competition, with observing and proving that the key principle of survival is cooperation. In her essay, The Service Berry, Kimmerer traces the cycle of one small berry known by many names. She begins her essay, "The cool breath of evening slips off the wooded hills, displacing the heat of the day, and with it come the birds, as eager for evening as I am. They arrive in a flock of calls that sound like laughter, and I have to laugh back with the same delight. I've never felt such a kinship with my namesake, Robin, as in this moment when we are both stuffing our mouths with berries and chortling with happiness. The bushes are laden with fat clusters of red, blue, and wine purple in every stage of ripeness. So many you can pick them by the handful. I'm glad I have a pail, and it's getting pretty heavy. The birds carry their bellies in the buckets of their berries in the buckets of their bellies and wonder if they will be able to fly with so much cargo. This abundance of berries feels like a pure gift from the land. I have not earned, paid for, or labored for them. There is no mathematics of worthiness that reckons I deserve them in any way. And yet here they are, along with the sun and the air and the birds and the rain. You could call them natural resources or ecosystem services, but the robins and I know them as gifts. We both sing gratitude with our mouths full. A practice of gratitude like that, not a polite thank you that we offer reflexively, but a way of feeling in your bones the very blessing of being nurtured by what you did not create, is well known, especially by Indigenous people. And the gratitude is most visible when it's expressed by recognizing a gift has been received and then keeping the gift flowing. Not an exchange with the same person or being from which we received it, but keeping gifts moving in the world, offering what we can when we can. In the early 1970s, linguist Daniel Everett was living among the Piranha people of the Amazon basin in Brazil, studying their language. What he got was a lesson in a very different way of being in the world, focused on the present, doing what one's best in each moment, present to all that was around them. In a recent interview, Everett says of the Piraha, "If you earn their trust and sit with them, someone will always be touching you, smiling at you, sitting with you and asking you questions and showing you their love for their children. Because that's what they're focused on. They're not going to show you how much fish they've accumulated, and they don't kill a lot of animals so they could preserve a lot of meat. When I asked them why they don't smoke or salt meat to preserve it for the future, one Piraha said to me, 'I store my meat in the belly of my brother. When I give him food, he will give me food. That's how we preserve meat. We take care of each other.'" So much of what we learn in our Western industrialized culture is the opposite of that, isn't it? Only to give once our own needs and our family's needs are secured well into the future, to be suspicious of those who need money and ask for it, stock up our pantries in order to prepare for disaster. Our novels and movies and television shows about devastating events focus on the survival game, where everyone's clawing for their own safety, food, and water at any cost. Whether it's zombies or infected, nearly dead people or another life form that has come to take over our planet, we're immersed in stories of our survival depending on our individual wits and skills and ruthlessness in protecting our own. But deep in our own hearts, when we put our roots down and feel our feet on the ground, we know better, don't we? Research actually shows that in the midst of disaster, the most prevalent human nature is resilient, resourceful, generous, empathetic, and brave. Rebecca Solnit, in her book, A Paradise Built in Hell, tells the stories of disasters starting from the 1906 earthquake in San Francisco all the way through Hurricane Katrina in 2005. And she notes the uplifting fact that in every case, the behavior of the people most affected by the calamity banded together, shared resources, cared for their neighbors, and offered each other comfort and hope. A soup kitchen springing up in Golden Gate Park after the 1906 earthquake, led by a woman who had only a few vegetables, but knew survival meant everyone sharing whatever they had. Folks evacuating the Twin Towers, stopping to pick up and carry wheelchair users down the stairs. Neighbors creating makeshift rafts to check in on other neighbors, bringing them to safety in the midst of the flooding during Katrina. None of them waited for authorities from afar to take action at the scene. And they describe a kind of solidarity and even joy in coming together to do what was necessary to keep each other safe. Solnit points out that the word emergency comes from emerge, to rise out of. An emergency is a separation from the familiar, a sudden emergence into a new atmosphere, one that often demands we ourselves rise to the occasion. Catastrophe comes from the Greek kata, or down, and strophen, or turning over. It means an upset of what is expected, to emerge into the unexpected. And it's not always terrible, though these words have come to imply ill fortune. Disaster reveals what else the world could be like, reveals the strength of that hope, that generosity, that solidarity. It reveals mutual aid as a default operating principle, and civil society as something that's always waiting in the wings when it's absent from the stage. We could use some of that upset right now, couldn't we? Because we're feeling a kind of upset that leaves us feeling powerless. Solnit also notes that the folks who are farther from the epicenter of a disaster are often more frightened, because what we imagine as overwhelming or terrifying when we're safe becomes something we actually can cope with when we must, when there's no time for fear. In this time, when so many of us are searching, wondering how to stem the tide of the terrifying persecution of people based on their gender identity, their race, immigration status, their poverty, the escalation of climate threat, I think we would do well to heed the lessons we know deep in our bones, told in the story of a Black boy in Florida in 1909, the ancient practices of indigenous people the world over, the consistent practices of humans in the face of disaster. We can let ourselves be governed by a sense of gratitude for each gift we have, to share all that's needed to keep our communities healthy and strong and thriving, to offer all that we can to the shared project of our flourishing. Robin Wall Kimmerer again writes, "The most important thing each of us can know is our unique gift and how to use it in the world. Individuality is cherished and nurtured because in order for the whole to flourish, each of us has to be strong in who we are and carry our gifts with conviction so that they can be shared with others." We have so many gifts right here, my friends. Gifts of financial resources, of hands-on skills, of imagination, of sleeves rolled up to help, gifts of compassion and care. We can find our community transformed by the movement of our gifts if we can dig deep and find what is needed within and among us to meet this moment. If we stay present to what that moment asks of us, connected to our fellow beings and rooted both in this physical ground and in the grounding of our faith, we can offer a sort of revolution from below, a flourishing of love in practice that can thrive like the lotus in the muddy ground of this world. May it be so. Amen. It's time, my friends, to reach deep into our roots and send forth tenacious limbs and leaves of love and service for justice and peace. How, you might ask? By renewing our covenant. A very special thanks to our covenant renewal team who have worked together joyfully and tirelessly to bring us to this great day. Joining Reverend Beth and me on the chancel are Al Ingram, Harry Kelso, and Philip Roberts, who's on his way up. Mary Galach, also part of the team, couldn't be with us this morning, and our treasurer, Liz Texera, is already busy with calculations. The whole team gives with tremendous generosity to this beloved spiritual community all year round, and we give great thanks for them.
This afternoon, a member of our reverse telethon team will be calling you to confirm your pledge and say thank you. Will all of our callers please quickly stand or give us a wave from the Zoom room as I call your names? And everyone, please be sure to keep an eye on your phone this afternoon and pick up for that possibly unknown number, because you'll be hearing from one of these wonderful people. Al Ingram, Barbara Ginhart, Connie Scanlon, Greg Hyde, Judy Chambliss, Kellyanne Weaver, Laura Pattison, Liz Texera, Lurleen DeVoe, Misty Hathaway, Patrice Keegan, Philip Roberts, and Sandy Dixon. Thank you all.
The pledges we make today are for the coming fiscal year, which begins July 1st, 4 months from now. You don't have to pay your pledge now or all at once. Most of us set up automated monthly payments and complete our pledges over the course of a year. Today, we state our intention to support this beloved spiritual community and our work in the world. People often wonder how much is the right amount to pledge. The answer is different for each of us. Our pledges range from $25,000 a year to under $100. Many of us commit to offering 10% of our income to causes near and dear to us. I want to remind you that we have a generous offer from Jeffrey Thompson and David Gennaro to match new and increased pledges up to $25,000, so any addition you give can be doubled. As you finalize your pledge, please think about what Arlington Street means in your life. If this community has been transformative for you, if you believe in our mission of love and service for justice and peace, please consider taking a leap in your investment in Arlington Street. Aligning your values with your money, with where your money goes, is a powerful spiritual practice.
Here are the instructions for how to make your pledge. It's very easy. The pledge form is online, and you only need to provide 4 things: your name, email address, the amount of your pledge, and the best phone number for a member of the Reverse Telethon team to reach you this afternoon. For those of you in the Zoom room, Kel is posting a link in the chat right now. Please click through to make your pledge. If you have any questions, please chat the tech team in the Zoom room or call or text our lovely treasurer, Liz Texera, whose phone number is in the order of service. Both are standing by to help you right now. If you're here in person, please take out your cell phone. There is a colorful QR code as well as a tiny URL link on page 4 of your order of service. Either of these will take you directly to the pledge form. The ushers also have a few paper pledge forms and pens. Please raise your hand if you prefer to pledge this way or if you need any assistance.
After we've made our pledges, we're going to celebrate the great generosity of this community. Reverend Beth and I will be lifting up all our names, but not the amount of the pledges. If you're here in person, you're invited to come down the left-hand aisle, past Mark David playing the piano, and choose an appreciation gift. Thanks to Dawn Belamo and her extraordinary green thumb, we have a variety of sprouting plants to choose from. And if that feels like too much pressure, there are also fresh flowers to enjoy. If you filled out a paper pledge form, you can bring it up at that time and hand it to one of our Covenant Renewal team. Then return to your pew down the center aisle. So again, come forward down the left aisle, get your gift, maybe a hug, and then return via the center aisle. We'll have a gorgeous, liturgically grand traffic flow. Zoomers, have no fear. Your appreciation gifts will be in the mail this week.
And now it's time to pledge. Thank you to John O'Connor,
David Brown,
Brad Cohen,
Rebecca Parkhill, and Robert Willett.
Denise Van Vuren,
Art Nava and Rich Abreu.
Sandy Dixon and Tracy Cruikshank,
Beth Robbins,
Al Ingram,
Polly Latham,
Mickey Randazza,
Jeffrey Thompson and David Gennaro,
Liz Texera and Dawn Balamo,
Queen Cheryl Teray,
Harriet Ranbig,
Dave and Jen Irby,
Bill Briggs and Keith Perrin,
Cheryl Sullivan,
Sarah Ross,
Cody Storms,
Connie Scanlon,
Laura Moody and Catherine Franklin,
Sarah and Pat Cooleybeck,
Barb Seidel,
Dan Simpson,
Ann Grossi,
Alan Kemp,
Kevin Tyrell and Michael Fisher,
Lois Hartsoff,
Colton Hewley,
Sarah Felino and Josh Bookin,
Sharon Genchis,
Hala Hazar and Jen Eno,
Donna Luff,
Mike and Jerry Buckles,
Daryl Waters,
Kelly Ann Weaver,
Reverend Erica Long,
Misty Hathaway,
Robert Williams,
Frank Lee,
Keith Fine,
Jimmy Bucklow,
John Gibbons,
Marie O'Brien,
Susie and Ted Slider. Sorry, Susie Slider and Ted Fitz.
Nancy Rote,
John and Matthew Anderson Miller,
Joe Allen,
Daniel Brotman,
Wendy Gallo,
Richard Marshall,
Gail Janess, and Alma Antariati,
Reverend Ali Jablonski,
Barbara Ginhart,
Lurleen DeVos,
Kel Alford,
Stephen Annabelle,
Christine Curtis,
Margie Hurley,
Kat Fahey,
Rebecca Reed,
Deb and Ed Ponce,
Marilyn Vitolo,
Scott Schroeder,
Shane McBride,
Thank you so much, beloveds. Beautiful. Thank you so much, choir. Mark David. A few more. Thank you to our pledgers. Thank you, Mary Galach, Richard Schneider and Stephen Hemrick, Jen Shaw, Fran Peterson, Bob Sessions, Eve Laria, Danny Fournier, Susan Holton and Joseph Schneiders, Heather Roberts, and Richard Matoli. Please keep those pledges coming in, and we'll be back with more thank yous and names in next Sunday's service. Friends, now we turn our attention back to this year. Arlington Street is entirely self-sustaining. It's up to us. And our generosity continues to be astounding. Thank you for your commitment to our staff, our building, and our beloved spiritual community. Each Sunday, we share our collection plate with a partner in our mission of love, service, justice, and peace. Our Share the Plate partner this week is the Sylvia Rivera Law Project, which works to guarantee that all people are free to determine their gender identity and expression, regardless of income or race, without facing harassment, discrimination, or violence. As you can imagine, they are very busy these days. SRLP seeks to increase the visibility of low-income people and people of color who are transgender, intersex, or gender nonconforming. They believe that in order to create meaningful political participation, all people must have access to basic means of survival and safety from violence. Please take a moment now to join me in giving to sustain our beloved Arlington Street. You can give online at ascboston.org or find instructions in the order of service for giving via QR code, Venmo, or text message. You can also mail a check to the church or use the envelopes in the pews, which can be given to the ushers as they come through momentarily with collection plates. Thank you for your generosity.
The Joshua tree with its arms raised, the way that you found me. I said, come this way, and you never second guessed. You believed in the Wild West. Come to see the ageless tree. You know the desert won't show everything waiting to grow. Desert queen, through the gold rush, everybody dreams, but now all that's left is us. We may have come here for the thrill, but will we stay through force of will? Come to see Death Valley. You know the desert won't show everything is waiting to grow. To grow. Give me a little bit of rain. I wanna believe it's true. We don't wait in vain. No, the desert will bloom with all the juniper Joshua tree in the darkness, the way that you found me on the road to this. And we take comfort in the fact that there is no turning back. Come to see the ageless tree. You know the desert won't show. Everything waiting to grow. 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 Everything waiting.
All that you have given today supports the deepening roots and glorious outspreading of branches, blossoms, and fruit from the glorious garden that is our home, or could be. Together, we are tenders of this precious garden, working side by side to build a new way of abundance and flourishing. So let's rise in body, rise in spirit, and join in singing as if we could make it true with sheer volume and maybe a little bit of dancing, building a new way. You'll find the words as usual in your order of service in the Zoom chat, or as, I don't have my number.
2, 1, 2, 3. Here we go. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. Feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are work. We are working to be free, to be free.
To be free.
We are working.
We are working
to be free.
to be free.
We are working
To be free.
of
Hate and greed and jealousy. We are
working to be free. We can feed. We can feed.
We can feed
Our every need.
our every need.
We can feed.
We can feed
Our every need.
our every
We can
need.
feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need. Peace and joy is our cry.
Is our
Peace and
cry.
freedom is our cry.
Is our
Peace
cry.
and
Freedom is our cry.
Without these, the world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry. We are building. We are building a new way.
A new way.
We are building a new way.
A new way.
We are building a new way. Even stronger.
have the amazing news that we have a tally from our delightful Liz, who you didn't get to meet earlier, of an astounding $242,944 just from this morning. Thank you all. This fuels our mission of love and service for justice and peace, but also binds us together in community in the most beautiful way. So let us offer one another the benediction of sustaining this beloved community for another year, and also of reaching out to send loving kindness to either side of us, beyond the sides of us, and out in widening circles of compassion and generosity that reach around the globe. And then bring your hands to heart center as you feel that loving kindness coming back. Carry the love that's the spirit of this congregation with you wherever you go. Robin Wall Kimmerer says, "Weep, weep," calls a toad from the water's edge, and I do. If grief can be a doorway to love, then let us all weep for the world we are breaking apart, so that we can love it back to wholeness again. My friends, let us celebrate the extraordinary gifts among us, moving as compassionate action in our world, moving us toward wholeness once again. May love hold us until we meet again. The service begins when the service ends. Amen.
Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your
Please visit ascboston.org for more information about this historic Unitarian Universalist congregation. Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace.